everybody, live from a toasty, balmy day in Koreatown. It is the OZone. I'm your host, Omar Miller. I'm here with my brother,
Sticky Terry.
I'm here with Sticky Terry.
Yo, Sticky.
What's happening? You joined Onyx B.
I did.
You got Sticky. What is going on? 2 years in a row. Hey.
What?
2 years in a row. Shout out to Microsoft. 2 years in a row. We got humidity in Los Angeles. I'll pass. That's not actually what I'm looking for.
Looking for an exit strategy. Right
I am looking for an exit strategy, Tom. And you know why? Because with this humidity comes the mosquitoes.
Yeah, and the stickiness. And I don't like either one.
I can pass.
I don't need the honey on my skin.
Oh, yeah. And you have to take too many showers.
Oh, come on.
East Coast, talk to me. How do you guys do it?
Freaking drenched.
So many showers. So much baby powder is necessary to stay fresh.
That's what you use.
What's happening? You can't even keep it.
I'm
Johnson
sorry.
& Johnson. I'm sorry. I can't even keep it in. This is just unbelievable. It's so sticky out. I need a shower right now, so let's hurry up and get through the podcast. Got a lot to cover today, folks. We want to talk about the baseball. We want to talk about the football. Big news in football. But we want to talk about right now boxing for this weekend. It's going down. Your boy Lomachenko, your favorite, is out.
I'm not mad at Loma.
I'm not either. But how about that training video?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. If you didn't know, go to the OZone handle on Twitter, and you will see some tremendous Lomachenko training videos.
It's real.
Like, oh man, this guy's coordination is berserk.
I just have a problem with everybody anointing him the best fighter in the sport of boxing because he hasn't earned that yet. To me.
They've pulled off on that. It's very interesting. A lot of people have pulled back. He went from being unanimous number one on everybody's pound for pound list to now you see him up there. He's 4, he's 5.
Who's number one now?
A lot of people have Canelo at number 1.
No, I've seen Canelo not even in the top 5 now.
Wow. I'm just telling you. I've seen they keep Terrence Crawford up there.
Yeah.
They keep Crawford up there. They play games with Earl Spence.
He's like number 3.
I see Nello up there. I never see Usyk in the top 5, which is amazing to me.
Torn bicep.
Yeah, but he's the only, unified undisputed champion in all of the whole sport.
Not anymore though. He gave him up, right?
Yeah, he gave him up. But he was that for a long time too. He just moved up.
And a bag of chips.
Yeah. And so now we have this weekend, Vasiliy Lomachenko is fighting against the pride of England's Luke Campbell.
Yeah, that guy's supposed to be able to chunk him. I'm not really familiar with his work, but.
Well, the thing is, he has a distinct size advantage.
If a lot of guys.
If he fights tall.
If he fights tall, is he going to use his size? Is he going to use his length to use that jab to keep him at distance? Come 1-1-2. 1-2, mix it up. Keep him off of me.
Yeah, because if not, it's going to be more of what we see, where Loma gets comfortable and then he puts on the show.
Take you to the balls, dance around on you.
He gets you to Cinderella.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that this is at 35, and these are the fights where we're going to actually see if Loma is as advertised. We've already seen that he's legit, but I've also seen him fight a bunch of undersized guys,
right?
Even though he's only has 13 fights.
Well, when he fought Linares looked like he was giving him a problem.
Yeah, and the size gave him a problem.
Yeah.
And he ended up overcoming as a champion should. He got off the mat and got it done.
Body.
But now we're going to see that. And we also, I don't know if you saw this, Loma said that he's focused because Luke Campbell has a size and a reach advantage, and he wants
probably
to be
needs to be
focused on that.
right?
I'm sure he does, because if you watch him run around with Alexander Usyk, they love the challenge. Yeah. They love fighting. They love the idea. He really does want to be the best.
Yes.
And he wants it to be undisputed. Like, he wants to, I am the best. If I had more weight,
he wants
I'd
to
be
convince
the best.
everybody that he's the best.
He 100%. And he even said, after this fight, I'm willing to go back down to 130 to make the fight with Tank Davis. I think we can make this fight if he wants it.
Yeah, Bob Arum's calling him out, saying that Floyd really doesn't want to get Tank in there. He's not a believer.
Eddie Hearn did the same thing.
Did you
see that?
Yeah, but you're starting to question it now. They're putting it out there, so maybe.
Well, Eddie Hearn literally jumped on Twitter last night, or I think it was Twitter, and said, or he did he did one of the blogs, and they asked him about him fighting Tevin Farmer. He said, "Look, the Mayweather Promotions, they want him to be a pay-per-view star, and Mayweather Promotions' international fan base is nothing in comparison to the Zone's." He was like, "So you tell me. Don't lie to me and tell me that Leonard Ellery is as the saying is that Tank gets $5 million." He goes, "I hope he's getting $5 million, but we all know he's not getting $5 million per fight." He said, "Gervonta, go on Twitter tonight. Just put up a number. You don't have to put the whole number up, and I'll offer you that." He goes, "Put the number up. I'll offer you that. What is your number to fight Tevin Farmer? And let's make it happen."
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see a number?
I did not see a number. from Young Tank. So I don't know. They try to keep it pretty tight over there in the rankings at Mayweather Promotions and try to keep the solidarity. But I mean, he's getting called out left and right. So now you're talking about potentially Lomachenko and or Tevin Farmer. These are two fights at 130 that are real tests.
I think they're hurting the stock, because if you do something like that and you never answer the bell as far as going out and fighting any of these upper echelon fighters, then people start to question your skill set.
Right.
As Tank, I feel like Tank has the skills to pay the bills, but we have to see him battle tested.
We sure do, because he keeps having 1 and 2 round fights.
Exactly.
This is an interesting thing. But I like Loma. I like Loma going into this. Like I said, and like you said, if Luke Campbell actually fights tall and can use his tools, he could give him a serious problem. But what we keep seeing is people are intimidated by Loma by the time they get into the ring.
Right. It's almost the Mike Tyson effect.
A bit of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a testament to how good he is, but wow.
It's really not. I think that they're buying into more the allure, not actually watching his fights. He's a great fighter, but you have to see him, battle tested. Like I said, 13 fights is not enough for me to anoint him the next coming.
Right. Yeah, we're about to see, because he keeps fighting them and he keeps knocking them down and knocking them out. So, I mean.
Did you ever see that one fight that he lost?
With the Salido? Yeah.
I've never.
He bullied him. He literally just bullied him. And it's funny because Orlando Salido came out. I think his name is Orlando. He came out and said before this fight now, he was like, I had success. And he gave some pointers to Campbell. He was like, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that Loma was just coming out of amateurs. So he didn't complain about what I was doing during the fight, but he complained a lot about it after the fight. He goes, and that was a sign of his lack of professionalism, because if you have a problem, you have to make it clear to the ref during the fight. And instead, what he did was he said, oh, you know what? No, he's hitting me low. He's roughing me up. He's pushing me. He's using his head, blah, 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 blah. But he didn't say any of that until after the fight. Well, by then it was too late and he lost.
Why didn't they run it back?
I don't know. I think because
Salido would want to run it back.
Salido is a bit of everybody sees it kind of like a one-off for Salido. He's a bit of a journeyman at this point. He's wrapped up his career. He's no longer relevant like that. And Loma has advanced since then, leaps and bounds,
to the elite status,
to the uber elite. He's there. He rides Uber helicopter, Lux. And so then the second piece I wanted to cover was a tweet that Showtime Sean Porter put out that it goes back to what you were saying before. When you looked up his amateur record and said that he beat Usyk in amateurs?
Yeah, he's beaten a lot of the bigger fighters. Everybody sleep on him. He's an elite fighter.
Sean Porter is sparring with David Benavidez in preparation for his fight.
He said, "Iron sharpens iron,"
which is very interesting because, in that sense, I wonder how that works between him. How does that work for Benavidez? Like, how does that help him prepare for the dog, for Anthony Durrell?
I think it would help him prepare just because Sean is somewhat of a dog. You know what I'm saying?
Sean is a dog, no doubt about it.
So that's going to help him out.
But dimensions-wise, Sean and AD are totally different.
But I think that just mixing it up, a guy that's moving forward, a guy that's a problem in general,
pressure.
You get to work on your skill set.
Right. And
I know that Benavidez is his favorite, but I feel like the dog's got him.
The dog.
That's my boy, too.
Yeah, we got almost 4 weeks exactly to that fight. It's going down 2 days after the premiere of The Unicorn on CBS.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get you some guests. I'm going to get you guys some guests from Ballers since this is our last season has been announced. We'll get you guys some guests before the show stops airing. You guys give us a call in. Let us know what you think about this season thus far. We're at 323-254-9663. Talk sports, talk ballers. We got a new show coming out called
424
Unicorn. And you know what? Or you could just call that guy 323. I lied. The number is 424-254-9663. Good call, dude. 424-254-9663. 424-9663. Wow, it works. The melody just works.
You can drop it in anywhere.
Just drop it in. I might order my coffee like that in the morning. It's going to be pretty good. Yeah.
What if you ordered everything like that?
That would be awesome. And then in the world of tennis, going to move on to this front side quickly. In the world of tennis, Wimbledon is past, and Simona Halep's reign is over that quickly because Taylor Townsend had enough for her. And that was a tough match.
Yeah.
Grueling match. Taylor is a sleeper, in my opinion. I really like her, and I've liked her for about a year now. And
why can't she move up in the rankings?
Well, you know what? Because you have to win, and you have to win. Like a win against Halep is going to leap her up. But she needs to win, and she needs to win at big tournaments. I think like a lot of the other young ladies, she has a gaps in her consistency, and that's how you move up in the rankings. You know, you have to win and get there and be there all the time.
So how far do you think that'll move her up by beating Halep?
I don't know what the actual
she's ranked 116th at this point.
I mean, she'll jump up. She's going to jump way up, and it's also
you think,
it's going to depend. Yeah, but it's going to also depend on what she does in the next round. So it's not just that, but we have the clash of the Titan and the mini Titan coming up tomorrow. Right. Oh, I'm pumped up. Naomi Osaka is going to face Coco Gauff, and Coco Gauff actually is in the process, like we were talking about with Lomachenko, getting battle tested.
Right.
Because what she's doing is so impressive. She had the Cinderella type run at Wimbledon until Simona Halep had enough and shut it down on her en route to winning the championship. I do believe it was Simona Halep that beat her.
Yeah.
And then she got tested in the second round here at the U.S. Open, and was down and had to come back, had to show the comeback kid. You know, this young lady is so impressive, not only because she's 15 years old, but because she's resilient.
Yeah, the mental fortitude is there.
It's there. You can see it. And sometimes she gets down, she gets a little pouty, and somehow or another something happens, she flips the switch and she's right back on.
You see that the older heads in the league, they're trying to break her,
yes,
they
mentally.
try to break her mentally, and she can stay focused.
And she can stay focused, and she can bounce back after she loses focus. This is what seems like it's tough in the world of tennis in general, but especially right now in women's tennis. Actually, you're seeing it on both sides, because you see it like right now, the Greek kid Tsitsipas, he came out and said he isn't even necessarily interested or focused on tennis right now.
Right, and you see the same thing with Naomi Osaka as well. Sometimes she's there and sometimes she's not.
Yeah, because she has all the tools.
Yeah,
that's
physically
she has all the tools, and this is why it's going to be very interesting tomorrow. I'm going with Osaka.
Are you? Go Osaka.
I'm going to Osaka, but I've been Osaka for about 18 months now.
Yeah,
and but at the same time, she better come to play, because Coco Gauff is there to play.
And they're mentors like Serena and Venus,
Yeah.
So now it's going to be the clash of the under Titans.
Yeah. Of the next generation, if you will.
Right.
And with that same theory, this is what's going on. It seems like with Sloane Stephens. Sloane won the U.S. Open 2 years ago, and ever since that win, she got her $3 million check and just hasn't seemed to have been able to focus.
Hangover.
You think it's a hangover?
I think so. You start living the good life.
I mean, I don't think Sloane Stephens was living a bad life before.
No, but I'm just saying,
there's a different level of exposure when you become a Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
For sure. And not everybody can do it. This is
because there's a lot of stuff going on off the court as well as on the court, and then you have to interject that into your life now, and it takes away probably from practice, from your focus and attention, and then you're out there stepping out there to the excuse me, and
dude.
You're stepping out there, and and the other person's focus, and it's a problem.
Yeah, it's 365 to be a champ for sure. And want to move in on news and notes in the world of basketball. Did you see the USA had that streak, that international streak snapped?
Not focused. That's where
they're not focused. That's why I went there. It goes right along with it. And yeah, you put up an article on The Athletic where Coach Popovich says Harrison Barnes is the only player on Team USA that even knows how to win.
That's terrible.
It is terrible. Because I watched that game against Australia.
And Harrison Barnes is playing on Sacramento.
Yeah. But he's a champ.
But he's a champ.
And he was a key component of that championship.
He knows how to go.
The Warriors. He knows how to go.
But
of the first one.
Yeah, but these guys, man, you go out there and you represent the country, and you can't go out there and, as they freaking say, lollygag.
You can't lollygag,
especially because can't let Australia get dubbed. I know.
Well, that's the thing, and they have a lot of NBA players.
Yes.
So we're talking about guys that are
good competition,
clearly up to code. Yeah. And they had a lot of big guys. Man, they had big guys. Yeah. Ingles, Baines is on the team. Baines, yes, he is. There's a lot of guys that are big in Australia, and then Patty Mills just with the dagger consistently. He killed them. I don't know if this will be a wake-up call.
I never knew that Patty Mills was from.
I did. I learned it. Yeah, I learned it during the playoffs about 2 years ago. That's back when he was Tony Parker's backup, and he came in killing. And they spoke to him after one game, and he had a heavy accent, mate. It's like, wow. And let's talk about the biggest splash, the biggest news, which is what Kobe Bryant said. We'll let you hear it straight from him.
Technical question here. Let's see how you can answer this. who would Shaq be if he had your work ethic?
He'd be the greatest of all time.
If Shaq had your work ethic,
he'd be the greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time by a
mile. Sure. He'd be the first to tell you that. For sure. I mean, this guy was a force like I have never seen. I mean, it was crazy. You know, a guy at that size. Generally, guys at that size are a little timid and they don't want to be tall. They don't want to be big. Man, this dude he did not care. He was mean. He was nasty. He was competitive. He was vindictive. I mean, I wish he was in the gym. I would have had fucking 12 rings.
Very, very candid take from Kobe Bryant. And, you know, I'm here for it because Kobe Bryant is full of that bull.
He is. I mean, and it's disappointing. And then I heard a couple of people talking about it wasn't really a jab at Shaq. It is a jab at Shaq.
And you saw what Shaq said.
Yeah.
Shaq said you'd have 12 rings if you passed the effing ball.
And if you listen deeper into the conversation, Kobe is talking about, well, I'm not going to pass the ball to you. You're not in shape. I kick it back. You, man, get the effing rebound.
Yeah, that was unreal. I mean, this is a clear.
First and foremost,
he's a key person to the transition of the game moving away from the big man.
Yeah.
This is a key time in basketball history where, as they say in the streets, the game got messed up.
And he messed it up.
He did. The game got twisted.
He's got to take responsibility for that too. He doesn't want to take any responsibility. First and foremost, Shaq does not have his frame. So Shaq is never going to be able to run the court like he's able to run the court.
Just like he's never going to be able to dominate internally the way Shaquille will.
Second
which then in turn makes you dominate the whole game.
Yeah. Second of all, he wouldn't have had any of his rings if it wasn't for Shaq.
Not one.
Because he's an enforcer, and there's no enforcers in the league like that anymore. So if you do something to Kobe, you should know that somebody's going to get punished on that team by Shaquille O'Neal.
And even the two that he got back-to-back after Shaq were a product of him learning how to win with Shaquille O'Neal.
But he takes and he gets all the credit for them winning.
He sure does, despite the fact that Shaquille was the MVP in all of them.
And let's talk about when the tires start falling off the vehicle was when he got caught. He got caught.
This is when nobody wants to talk about that.
He got caught in Colorado playing grab ass.
He playing grab ass in Colorado. Might even been worse than grab ass.
But then
the allegation was it was forceful.
Yes. And then he throws Shaq under the bus. Shaq is at the house.
I'm at the crib.
Why are you telling on me?
All that I'm doing, I'm out eating the chicken sandwich.
Come on,
I was slobbing. She was slobbing. And I ordered the big breakfast. Shaq was ordering the big breakfast.
And and now you're throwing his name out there. That's where the where the tires fell apart.
The wheels fell all the way off.
Came completely off.
And that's also, if you remember, when Kobe Bryant felt the need to really show out on the scoring front.
Yeah.
Because what happened was he came back and
diversionary technique.
That's what it was. Through scoring. I mean,
don't sleep. He was a great player.
One of the best ever.
But there's been a lot of great players in the league like him who never won anything.
Yes.
And if you don't put him together, have that dynamic duo with Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe does not win anything.
And like I've said a million times, were about 7 to 10 other guards in the league who you could plug and play at that same period and tenure that Kobe Bryant had, that then in turn would have had the same result or better with Shaquille O'Neal.
Yep.
You got Tracy McGrady, who was there at the time.
Stephon Marbury, Allen Iverson.
Vince Carter, Allen Iverson, Stevie Franchise. There was a lot of dudes who could have stepped in and passed the ball to Shaquille O'Neal and hit a couple clutch shots.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man.
And it's funny, though, because it's the way that it's framed, and obviously they're cordial enough to talk about it and joke about it now. But the way that it's framed, it really is framed as though Kobe was the A-side, as they say.
Yeah.
You're not the A-side when there's the most dominant 7-footer ever. 7'2", whatever he is.
Not the most dominant ever. You went too far.
No, I'm not.
He's the most, too much.
No, I'm not. He's the most physically dominant ever. Now, the captain is the most, is the highest scorer ever, but that's not.
The captain was dominant.
Yeah, but that's not dominant. The way that Shaquille O'Neal was dominant was in a brutish, forceful, like violent way. Kareem can actually run you up and down the court. And I read a great article. If you guys haven't read it, there's a great article. I think it's in Variety or the New York Times. It's an op-ed that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was very disappointed in the portrayal that Quentin Tarantino put forward of Bruce Lee, who was his friend and mentor, his friend and his teacher. And you guys should check that article out because it's a really well-written article. And what Kareem, besides what Kareem is saying about Quentin Tarantino being, culturally appropriating nonsense, which is actually, Boots Riley just wrote something about it as well, which was about how the Manson tribe was not a bunch of fun-loving, weed-smoking hippies. They were a bunch of white supremacists who wanted to incur violence, who then in turn to start a race riot.
Yeah.
But of course, all of that, I haven't seen the film, but I've been easy on Quentin Tarantino films for a while now because of this sort of revisionist history that he seems to love and some reason people go along with. But I digress. What Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said in that article as well was he talked about how, learning from and hanging out with Bruce Lee taught him so much about his body and his ability to remain primarily injury-free to have such a long career.
Which nobody will have nowadays.
Especially not a big man.
Yeah.
No chance a guy that's 7'4" will play for 25 years, 20
crazy.
years or something.
First and foremost, they get paid too much money. So
Yeah, right. I'm not even interested in playing anymore. I have $7 billion, all right? I started my own league. Yeah, but with that, you ran off, back to the story, Kobe Bryant ran off the best player in the NBA at that time by far.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal was the best player in the NBA at that time.
There wasn't any answer for him.
There's no answer for him.
Everybody fouled him every single time he touched the ball.
They changed the rules.
They changed the rules. I mean, now they have a zone in the league.
Just for you kids that don't understand, in the past, you could only play man-to-man in the NBA.
Yes, and there weren't.
You just had to get worn out by Shaq or Michael Jordan or
you can
whoever.
triple team him if you want.
You can triple team him.
Wide open.
People are going to be wide open, and you wind up with a Steve Kerr in your life, or a Robert Horry in your life.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at the situation, they literally changed the rules. They changed the rules for Shaquille O'Neal because he was too dominant. And this is before he even won a championship.
Yeah.
They were just too tired of watching him dunk on everybody. They didn't even keep track of the dunk stats like they did until Shaquille O'Neal came to the scene. Because he was killing people like busting people's nose, busting people's teeth.
Breaking down the rim.
Breaking down the rims. He said he could break the rim at any time, and he proved it over and over again that he wanted to. Sometimes if he wanted to break in the middle of the game, he'll just monster dunk, and then they have to take an hour off to bring in a new rim.
Unbelievable.
And all of this because as well, side note, I'll take Penny Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal over Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. If you're talking about prime Penny versus prime Kobe Bryant,
I would take AI.
No, I'm talking about guys that actually played together.
Oh,
so
okay.
I mean, that's nice to get. It would be nice to get AI, but
AI wanted to play with him bad.
I'm talking about guys that played together. And when Penny Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal played together, there was literally no answer because Penny Hardaway didn't have the ego issue.
Right.
And he recognized the greatness that Shaq gave him.
I'm still surprised after all this time that Kobe would bring it up, and then he's saying that everybody's trying to start something. You brought that up.
Yeah.
You can't. They would have beat the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons' game plan was to let Kobe do his thing.
And that's what he did.
And that's what he did. He bought right into it. You got your numbers, and you got an L.
And Shaquille O'Neal gave you, I do believe he averaged 36 and 20 in that series.
How you doing?
There was no answer. And how about this? What's so crazy is that was considered Ben Wallace shutting him down.
Ben shut him down.
That was considered to be Ben Wallace shutting him down.
They had with Ben gardening. He looked like a little kid.
Everybody looked like a kid next to Shaq. Except for every blue moon, he would run into a guy that was close to his size, and then he would really put it on him. Yao actually gave him problems, but I meant the other big guys.
Yao gave him problem once or twice. After that, he put it on Yao too.
I mean, but Yao put his numbers up as well. He came front on Yao. Yao gave great big man work. Just too big.
Yeah,
his foot.
Like Shaq was a brute.
Yeah, man. I just can't roll, and I've been seeing people on Twitter nonstop talking about how Kobe is right and blah blah blah. I'm like, man, you guys
they're victim of the moment because Shaq doesn't run around talking about it.
That's just all it is,
you know. And Shaq could go anywhere. He could have went anywhere and won his rings with a complement of players.
With the complement of players,
yeah. Kobe, on the other hand, you know, he had Pau Gasol. Who else did he win with? He won with Pau.
Andrew Bynum, who was totally underrated at that point.
Rolled on his knee.
And he rolled on his knee several times to make sure that the man would never have a long career in the NBA. But somehow or another, Kobe Bryant and people like Kobe Bryant seem to feel like, because Andrew Bynum was one of those people they said had a suspect work ethic.
Yeah.
Now, Shaq did not have a suspect work ethic. He didn't have the same mentality about the work that Kobe Bryant may have had.
I understand Shaq's mentality, though, because he's out there physically dominant. He doesn't have to do all the extra work that Kobe needs to do to dominate.
That's it.
So why is it that I'm going to spend all of my time in the gym when I'm going to walk out here and I'm bigger and stronger and nicer than everybody? Why is it that
Out the bed.
You talking about practice?
You talking about practice?
Come on.
I haven't seen
Do
the
you
guy
want him
that
in
I
the
can't-
weight room?
I-
He can still literally come down there and pull the rim down. Can you do that?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
The assistance, it's so disrespectful because the assistance that Shaquille O'Neal gave to Kobe Bryant,
I think that the enforcer thing is not looked out.
it's not looked at enough.
It's not looked at enough, man.
No.
You need, back in the day, you had to have an enforcer. You had Charles Oakley.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley
Everybody
was an enforcer.
Sure was.
Yeah, you know,
Sure was.
You have your little point guards running around doing their thing, and if they get hit too
I mean,
hard
at
or
time,
whatever,
Horace Grant would
yeah,
even
Horace
do
Grant
that.
would rough you up.
He'll rough you up. Yeah, it's just unbelievable to me that he would pull that card.
And get everybody to be a victim of the moment.
And they fall for it because of his
They drank the Kool-Aid, champ.
weak performance with his 60-point Olay performance when everybody let him score all those points in the last game of his career.
Yeah.
Because that's the last image you remember. And I tell you, nothing cures evils in the United States for Americans like winning. It doesn't matter what you do. If you can win, if you can highlight, that's all they care about. And by they, I mean we, because I'm still an American. But it's unbelievable.
We are they.
Yeah. And they're with us.
And you with me. Oh, the other.
It's unbelievable. I'm really blown away. I saw the clip. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
How about even if he wasn't in shape, as you want to call it, but he actually just stayed and you didn't run him off? How about that?
How about he wasn't in shape and he won all those rings by not being in shape?
Yeah, if
How
you're calling
part?
it that he's not in shape. And honestly, he went up the next year and should have reported right back to the finals, but that's why they had to get Eddie Jones out of there. Eddie Jones and Damon Jones had to go until he had to turn Dwayne Wade into Kobe Bryant 2, the 3.0, not even 2.0, because it was Penny Hardaway was the first Kobe Bryant, then Kobe Bryant, then Dwayne Wade.
I honestly don't believe that Kobe would have ever won a title at all.
Not at that
without
period.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Because that means Shaquille O'Neal would have been playing somewhere else.
Exactly.
And you weren't going to beat him.
No.
They weren't going to beat him in the final. I mean, and there's no chance that he beats David Robinson and Tim Duncan together without Shaquille O'Neal.
Come on, man.
Every year they had to play the Spurs. And that Spurs team was formidable.
2 nice 7-footers, fundamentally sound.
Come on, man. One playing power forward, one playing center. And you got a Sean Elliott. Sometimes you got Robert Ory.
Come on,
you
man.
got the homie Vinny Del Negro.
What was that? Who was
Tony Parker. You got a lot of
they had a
nice
good
squad.
defender on that squad. What was it? Who was that?
You talking about Bruce Bowen?
Bruce Bowen.
Bruce Bowen was a good defender.
He was a good defender.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Lied.
They
lied, so.
They lied out.
Yeah, they lied. But either way it goes, I don't know, man. Bruce Bowen actually liked to bring in that sticking your foot under a guy when he's coming down on the jumper. He really pioneered that move.
Took him a long time to perfect it.
But he got it.
He been at home practicing it.
Exactly. My ankle. I just went to go to the microwave, Bruce. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was controversial to say the least. But Kobe knows what he's doing. And just like Shaq knows what he's doing, which is exactly why he came out and said what he said.
Yeah.
Now, who does not seem to know what he's doing, and the world is really coming down on him, kind of like in the way that Jaleel said, is DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah. He
Helps with DeMarcus Cousins. So, and this all seems to be stemming from a previous incident, but there's a warrant out for his arrest down in Alabama because an ex, the mother of his child, did not want to let his child, for an unknown reason, attend his wedding. And apparently she recorded him threatening her, put a bullet in her head for it. Now he's willing, and he's being potentially charged with 3 misdemeanors, I do believe it is, but he's willing to turn himself into the authorities. But because he just had the ACL surgery, it's not, he can't do it.
It's a trip to me by when you get
Can't fly.
Well, when you get a certain amount of money, it's optional to go to jail.
How crazy is that? You're seeing
Like,
it in the White House.
you
It's
know what?
unbelievable.
I don't think I'm going to jail right now. I
may or may not
you guys
go to
call
the
me back
hearing.
in about 6 months, and then I might go.
Yeah.
I mean, it matters how my
My schedule looks. Look at this. I'm looking at this subpoena. This is so funny. Look at this. The United States government wants you to come to court.
No.
Silly fools. Yeah. Yeah, that's a
I
trick.
have to do OZone, man. I can't go. You crazy?
Something tells me they'll still come get you.
You think?
Yeah, so they're saying he because he's not medically clear to fly, and
That's unbelievable.
he said that he wants to turn himself in to the authorities. But I'm chilling in my mansion. I can't come right now. My knee's still swole. I need a couple more weeks.
That is crazy to me. Just even the whole concept of optionally going to jail. They gonna go to the game. Nah, I'm gonna go to jail. That sounds cool to me. A and B options.
A and B selection. Wow. So now to speak about our favorite sport. Once again, folks, a game so fine it's played on diamonds. Major League Baseball is in its dog days of the season, and the playoff picture is becoming clearer and clearer. But unfortunately, the news has come out about what killed the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim star pitcher Tyler Skaggs. We were actually on the air for the OZone about 2 months back when we found out that he passed away in Texas on a road trip. And now the autopsy is saying that it was a toxic cocktail, a mix of fentanyl, oxycodone, and alcohol that led to his death. And his family is saying they will be relentless about finding out how he got the narcotics. Now, this fentanyl is running amok, huh?
It is. I think that his family finding out how he got it, if a guy's on that kind of stuff, you're not going to stop him from getting it.
You're not going to stop him from getting it.
Especially when he has access with money and people and everything else.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
I think he's
going to get it.
They want somebody to pay, you know, because that I'm sure they're hurting right now. But really, I don't see whoever got it for him. It's
they have to live with that.
Well, and he had to take it.
And he had to take it. He has to be responsible for taking it, right?
He had to take it, and it's really unfortunate. You wonder how people get involved. A guy like Tyler Skaggs, it just goes to show you never know what's going on in people's lives, you know?
Right?
You never know what's happening behind the scenes.
Everybody has
got
multiple faces.
That's it.
You know, and this guy probably he had another face because he mixed a cocktail that's a toxic cocktail, man. That what he took, they said he died on his own vomit pretty much.
Yeah.
And
it's really
terrible.
Yeah, because whatever it is, the pain that he was looking to cope with, or whatever it was that he was looking to deal with, seems like it really, it put him into this position where he wanted to get away or to get buzzed or whatever it is. And if you're messing around with that stuff, you have to be really, really careful. The mix is, we've seen it over and over again. This is the same kind of way they got Prince.
Right. Now, do you think that this is the first time
No.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what's funny, though? I wonder about that. Because it seems like you would either OD the first time you do it.
Right.
Or you've done it a bunch of times and you were already faded. And so you kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And eventually your body's like, hey, man, that's all I got.
Because I honestly believe that, I wouldn't be surprised if there's someone that was with him when it happened, when he was taking it. You know what I'm saying?
Who's keeping that? It's stuff
very
like that.
Rare for people to take medicine like that by themselves.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think there's usually a group activity. Yeah. It's really unfortunate. I feel bad for his family.
Yeah.
And the game lost a great one there. He was
a lot of
everybody
potential.
loved him, a lot of potential. Man, he could shut you down on any given night.
Yeah.
Man. And we went to the stadium. We told you guys last week that we were heading to Chavez Ravine to watch the Yankees and the Dodgers in a potential World Series matchup. And over the weekend, the Yankees took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. And this was a Yankee team that honestly is pretty beat up. They didn't have anywhere near their full complement of players.
Right.
And Aaron Judge found his footing in Los Angeles and has been on a tear ever since. He hadn't hit many bombs. I think he hadn't hit a bomb in like almost
got him now.
And now he's hit about 26 in the last
got his sea legs.
Man, he's got his sea legs. But what we want to analyze about this series is what we've been telling you guys since last year when the Boston Red Sox hopped the turnstiles of the dugout at Dodger Stadium, which is if Cody Bellinger can't get himself together in big games, the Dodgers are going nowhere.
And this is the problem because the Dodgers don't want to concede that he can't get it done right now. Not that he won't be able to get it done in the future, but he can't get it done right now. So you might have to drop him down in the lineup because he gets exploited or exposed every time they play a big game.
James Paxton carved him.
Every pitcher that they had carved him.
Everybody carved him.
They have a recipe for him, and he was eating it up.
And it's almost, we talked about this at the game. I would love to hear what you guys think about this. You give us a call, 424-254-9663. But it's almost as if the league allows him to dominate until it's time for the tight situations, just to put the seed back in his head. Hey, guess what? We know you can hit high fastballs and low and away off speed pitches, and you will give us the little league softball swing when you lose your confidence.
Well, and the problem is that he doesn't have to swing at that pitch. That pitch is not a strike. And they're throwing strikes by him, and then
they throw strikes by him,
and then they make him go to the dirt low and away.
We've watched it the last two
does it every single time, and it's a confidence thing.
And then the Dodgers did something that was just unacceptable in my book.
Yeah, very much so.
The guy strikes out 3 times, and the Dodgers took him out of the game.
And he's supposed to be one of the best players in the league, in the game,
in all of baseball.
Yeah.
You just got to get carved, man.
Yeah, you just got to take
You got to wear that, and you got to go out in the field, and you got to look it all around and be like, damn, I got carved.
Yeah.
I need to go back to the drawing board.
This what makes you a better player.
Or
breaks you.
Or it breaks you because you get carved, because what we saw happen was he got carved on Friday night. James Paxton carved him 3 strikeouts and 3 non-competitive at-bats, 3 bad, ugly strikeouts.
CC got him.
And then in the fourth at-bat, he wasn't there. They took him out of the game. They took Justin Turner out of the game and put Russell Martin in at third base, and Justin Turner was getting carved.
Right.
Then the next day, CC gave Cody Bellinger work. And then after that, Zach Britton came in, and my goodness, forget about it.
3 pitches.
3 pitches, get out of there. And then on Sunday, I was actually at the game again on Sunday, and Domingo Germán gave him work. So it's not like it's a solely lefty-on-lefty thing, which, by the way, if you're supposed to be my franchise player, I don't care if you bring out Jim Abbott. I don't care if you bring out a guy that throws left and right or throws with his feet. You're supposed to be the guy that can hit everybody.
At least make contact.
And this is my concern, folks.
And he did make contact one time. He hit a hard ground ball to second base, and the second baseman
booted it.
Gleyber Torres booted it, and they gave him a base knock.
They gave him a base knock. And I think in one other at bat, he got a walk.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't remember Cody Bellinger being a factor in the. He did steal a home run though.
Yeah, but you can't.
In the outfield.
You can't win games. You can't win in the postseason with him playing like that.
No, he's got to be at his best.
And if not, you got to move him down. Now they do it,
or move him up.
You think, but where, to the leadoff spot?
Or the second spot or something. Thing is, he's the guy that needs the protection in the big games.
He has protection. The problem is that he doesn't have confidence. The protection is not
there
the
it
problem.
is. There you go.
You know, and you have Corey Seager batting at the bottom of the lineup.
Which never makes any sense.
Of the lineup.
Because if you've somehow or another in Dodgerland, we forgot that before he tore his arm up, before he had to get Tommy John surgery, Corey Seager was the franchise.
Yeah.
And the reason that we went and got Manny Machado was because we needed somebody that great to fill the shoes of this kid who the whole future of the franchise is resting on. And now he bats in the 6 hole. Which is amazing. Because he gets hot, that kid can carry you.
Well, they're gonna have to
he's got great defense, and he's offensively well above average when he's rocking and rolling.
Did Max Muncy break his hand?
You know what? I saw that. I don't know what the X-ray or what the MRI
that means
said.
That Corey Seager will move up in the lineup probably, and they're talking about bringing up their all-star phenom down in the minor leagues, Gavin Lux.
Which hopefully Max Muncy. You know, we watched something else that's a problem for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Which is Max Muncy made an error at second base. I don't think they gave him the error. And
he made a few errors. They're not literally physical errors, but
they're baseball errors. They're mental errors.
They're mental errors.
They're the errors that if the coach sees you do, they make everybody drop their gloves and you do push-ups and you run and somebody's got to throw up and the whole song and dance.
Or they're the errors that if you're on the other team, you can't wait to see him play that position again because he doesn't know how to play it the right way.
That's it.
Instead of being in front of the bag when somebody's still in the bag, he's behind the bag.
Instead of playing second base like a first baseman when it's time to spin 2, when you know that you can't spin 2, he's standing on top of the bag. He gets taken out by Brett Gardner, which then in turn in real life, the game that they won on Saturday should have been tied.
Right.
Because Gleyber Torres was headed home while Max Muncy was writhing around in pain.
And then they called
timeout.
Which wasn't, you can't give him a timeout right there. The play has to finish.
Which, by the way, it seemed like Didi Gregorius may be throwing the game because for some reason
tried to lay down the bunt with 2 strikes.
1 and 2 strikes and tried to drag it when there's nobody on the whole left side of the field.
Right. What are you doing? I was very disappointed in Didi because he's a way better ball player than that.
Yeah. And he showed it the night before.
Yeah.
Big salami.
I wonder what the line was on that game.
You know what? The Yankees were not favored in any of the games.
That's crazy too.
Yeah, to you, but that's because you picked the games. But you know, they took batting practice against Han Jin, which was unfortunate. And a big piece of that, if you remember, was again bad baseball from the executive perspective. Gary Sanchez hits like 230.
Right.
And there's runners on second and third. The game was 1-0 at that point, maybe 2-0, I think, or maybe 2-1. I think the game was. And you decide to intentionally walk Gary Sanchez to load the bases for Didi Gregorius?
That's what the analytics tell him to do. Lefty on lefty.
Nobody in baseball thinks that's a good move except for Yankee fans. And
Dodgers obviously thought it was great.
And Didi Gregorius promptly hit a grand slam.
Yeah.
On the first pitch of the at-bat.
Told you it was coming.
Yeah. And, it wasn't really a surprise. That's the terrible part.
Well, with Hunter, also, even if he has to go against the Astros, even if he was going against the Red Sox, whoever, he pitches to contact. And that's cool not in the postseason. It's not cool because.
Well, it can be cool in the postseason if you're not facing a a team that hits the ball hard.
Yeah. And the Astros and the Yankees, they get the ball out the park. So it's not going to be a situation where you can pitch to contact with them. You need a guy like Walker Buehler who can get people out.
Dominates guys.
Yeah. And Clayton Kershaw who can get people out because you saw that Judge went deep on Clayton Kershaw. And what did he do to him the next time?
3 pitches. Get out of there.
Get out of there. Now, he got complacent because the next cat
Ford, and Ford's been on a tear, by the way.
After he got confidence, he went deep off
Ford went deep off of Kersh, and then went up to Seattle and started showing out.
Kershaw gave up 3 solo bombs and ended up
gave up 4 hits.
Yeah,
4 hits over and 7
11
with 12 strikeouts, 30 dozen, no walks. And the Dodgers had Domingo Germán in trouble the entire night and couldn't get him.
They don't play baseball the right way.
And this is going to be interesting to see because the Dodgers are the odds-on favorite to get back to the World Series in the National League. And this year they're going to have a rough road.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, in real life, it's getting tight over there in the East. We still don't know anything about the wild card, but I don't think you want to see the Washington Nationals get to the playoffs.
I don't think you want to see the Mets get to the playoffs.
You definitely don't want to see the Mets get to the playoffs with that staff. But the Mets have a tendency to go dumb, to go complacent in their minds sometimes.
But the Dodgers play baseball like that. I mean, overall, they don't play the game the right way. If you don't play the game, I know that everybody feels like they're the dominant team in the National League.
Right, they win a lot of games.
They win a lot of games, but when it comes down to it, they don't win rings because they don't play the game the right way. When they get into the World Series, they play against a team that's fundamentally sound. They don't strike out a lot. The Yankees do strike out a lot, but then they're going to play against.
But the Yankees have a strategy for striking out.
Yeah,
their
which
strategy
is the long ball. Yeah.
We just need to get one guy on base, and one of the next 3 guys should get him in.
I would like to see Walker Buehler pitch against them because he's a hard thrower, fastball pitcher, and the Yankees love that.
And he believes in his gas, though.
Yeah.
He believes in it.
And they believe in it, too. They believe in it, too.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him match up. But, I mean, Walker Buehler dominated that Red Sox team last year, so I actually feel confident about him versus just about anybody because when Walker Buehler comes out with his 97, 98,
the Braves jumped all over him.
The Braves are the only ones that jumped on him because everybody else he had worked for.
And I think he's going to have to see the Braves again.
I think somebody's going to have to see the Braves, and nobody wants to see the Braves.
They got a more mature Braves.
A more mature. They had to learn how to win.
Yeah,
and that's what happened last year. And do we know how long Dansby Swanson is out?
He's back.
He's back now.
Yeah.
Oh, Dansby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's been back for about 3 or 4 days.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. He's been back for a little bit. Yeah, and it seems to be more clear in the American League with the way that things are going, but the National League is all up for grabs. You know what's going down. How about Nick Castellanos?
Ripping
hi hat.
I let the air out my tire.
Oh, sorry. It's a little slower.
Yeah, Nick is the real deal, though. He was the real deal in Detroit.
Yeah, he was. He just seemed like he just lost.
He got complacent. I mean,
he lost the desire to play.
You don't win over there.
They don't win.
You're not winning. Why would you want to be in Detroit?
Yeah, unless you got family there.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently he doesn't, and maybe now he wants to win because he's playing well, and it's affecting the whole rest of the team.
Yeah, but the Cubs aren't going anywhere either. They make too many errors. Their bullpen is not tight, and they are really hurting because Wilson Contreras is not playing.
Yeah, and Nick Castellanos has actually provided the pump that they were missing as soon as Wilson Contreras went down.
Yeah,
but now what's he, 5 weeks out? So is he 3 weeks still out?
Wilson Contreras?
Yeah.
He's going on rehab, I think, tomorrow, and he should probably be back at the end of next week.
Oh, he can't wait. Yeah, it was 4 weeks total, right? Yeah. I thought it was 5 weeks total. It was 4 weeks total.
Got the hammy problem.
That ham bone. Yeah.
They might have to move him from being a catcher.
Yeah, it seems like they can't, or get him IVs in the game or something.
Yeah, or just, let him play other positions at times. Because now they have, Nick Carantini?
Yeah.
Vic Carantini, he's playing first.
Yeah.
Because Rizzo's hurt.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, I feel that way that you feel about the Cubs is how I feel about Milwaukee. I don't feel like Milwaukee's actually going anywhere this time around.
Yeah.
They were a real threat last year.
They don't have any.
It could have been a problem in the World Series, to be honest.
I don't know why they didn't go out and get any pitching.
Right.
Obviously, they were pitching out there, but that kid, Adrian Hauser, stepped up to the mic. That's been throwing really nice since Brandon Woodruff went
Got
down.
hurt, yeah.
And Brandon Woodruff is not coming back until the middle of September. But by that time, it might be lights out.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, the race is tight.
Yeah, because the Cardinals are playing Cardinal ball.
Yeah,
Jack
they keep
Flaherty
winning.
just now he took a loss the other day, but he hadn't lost in like a month or something.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty's been super dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you still have to deal with the potential of getting in a series, a 1-game series with Max Scherzer on the bump.
Right, and I think that
or get to the 5-game series and you got to face Patrick Corbin, Steven Strasburg, and Max Scherzer.
Right, and all three of those guys are in the top 5 of strikeouts in the National
Them
League.
dudes get you out of there.
Yeah.
And they have exploded. All of a sudden, their offense is just totally and completely exploded.
You know what?
Rendon's having a great
Yeah.
year. You know, Adam Eden.
Victor Robles.
Juan Soto. These guys are getting it. Trey Turner's back.
Yeah.
These guys are getting it done. And Howie Kendrick is doing what Howie Kendrick has done for about the past 15 years,
Yeah.
which
Hit
is
the
hit the ball. Yeah.
I just
were you
don't
gonna
understand though. But I'm talking about with the strikeouts because these guys, you see that they're getting people out of there, but why do you get into a count where they can strike you out? You know what I'm saying?
Because your whole goal is an extra base hit. That's why you get into account where they can strike you out, because there's no concept of shortening your swing.
Right.
Every swing, when we learned how to play the game, you're supposed to take a hack for you.
Hey, I got one for me.
I got one for me.
Yeah,
I take a hack for me. If that doesn't work out,
one for the team.
Then I take a more conservative hack, just a more conservative hack, and then I'm taking one for the team if I get down to 2 strikes.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm not hack for the team, it's supposed to be to go up the middle or to go to the right side.
Right.
That concept is lost
Out the window.
completely. But it's only going to continue to be incentivized if you have
If you keep paying for it.
if you can strike out 12 times in a game to one pitcher and still win the game. That incentivizes. I heard the other day in that game that Jake DeGrom pitched that ended up going 14 innings or 13 innings or something like that. There was 46 combined strikeouts, something to that effect. And that Charlie Steiner was talking about on the radio. He said, just to put it into perspective, in 1941, Joe DiMaggio struck out 40 times the whole season, 41 times the whole season.
Can you believe that?
And this is why a guy like DJ LeMahieu shows up and devastates Yankee fans, especially.
Yeah.
Especially Yankee fans. Because Yankee
Now
fans.
he's the MVP of the American League.
That's it. Because Yankee fans have been conditioned to accept that style of baseball because they see it as successful, which is just the long ball. But
DJ LeMahieu gets 2 strike zone, going the other way, getting
going
in
up the middle,
gap.
he's going up the way,
Yeah.
the other way. And he's not doing anything different than he did in Colorado the last 6-7 years.
And Colorado, man, was I wrong with that, boy?
Well, what can you do? You can't get them all right. So.
yeah. But Daniel Murphy, they swapped out Daniel Murphy for DJ LeMahieu? Are you kidding me?
Come on, man. And a batter, Daniel Murphy.
Play too much.
It looks like now they're eating, definitely got to eat the humble pie on that one. That was not the move that worked out for them. Yeah. And it's, nice article up by Bob Nightingale, by the way, in the USA Today about how the old timers can't even watch the game anymore.
We've spoke to old timers that say that they don't watch the game.
They don't even watch the game
some of the
now.
legends we have.
We're talking about legends that we don't want. We want to
we ain't
remain
gonna throw
nameless.
we're not going to throw their names out.
Hall of Famers.
But Hall of Famers, literally, that we've had conversations with and asked them about the game. Now they said, man, I don't even watch the game anymore.
I didn't even watch the game.
It's that bad.
They might come out to do a tribute when it's there, when it's time to do that, but that's it.
But they're not interested in watching baseball.
Let's see what the caller has to say.
Hello?
Dan, you're live on the OZone to talk about Mets baseball. I heard you got a fantasy draft to go messed up, so we're going to go ahead and make this quick.
Yeah.
What's the latest? How's it out in New York? You guys raining? You muggy? What are you looking like?
It's not the weather that's getting us down, Omar.
What's happening? What's happening at Citi Field?
Well, what I will say is I'm as passionate a fan as any. That it gets me wildly upset when the Mets lose ball games. And I've been at Citi Field through this stretch, and it's a noticeable difference, obviously, in the crowd and the vibe. And even when they're losing games, Pete Alonso has 42 home runs. It's things that we've never really seen before. And not that, this is not a bad team, but this team is clearly not ready yet. To take that next step. And they put themselves in such a huge hole that if you expect to come back from that, you got to play perfect. And right now, they're just not playing perfect. I mean, Noah Syndergaard got tagged the other day and they still almost won that game, but you can't give up 10 runs and expect to win a game, much like you can't get that far back and have to go over so many teams. Yes, they got themselves back in it, but at this point, they're not out of it. I'm not saying they're out of it, and it's going to be much the same. They have a stretch of, I think, 9 games before the last series against the Braves, where they play the Marlins and I want to say Arizona and another team that San Diego, maybe something like that. I don't know. But it's going to be much the same where they're going to have a chance to get back in it, and then the Braves are going to demoralize them and try to beat them. And, I grew up with that, Omar. So I'm used to that. If you think I can't see the Mets beat the Braves, then, stomach it and wait for next year. But I think obviously my biggest concern with this team this year has been Mickey Callaway and his management of the team.
Really?
And I think there's no way he's back next year. I think they could make a deep playoff run and he's not back. I think it's noticeable things with him. I know, you guys watch a lot of baseball, but when you see managers make curious decisions, it's one thing when they're, I guess, routinely making the same curious decision, and I'm okay with that. And I don't think Mickey Callaway in the long term necessarily is a poor prospect as a manager. But right now, you see him doing things where you wonder if he's, paying attention. And I'm not saying that to joke around. I can point to noticeable examples. When they played in Chicago and the White Sox grounds crew, for some reason, can't figure out how to get the foul line to extend from a foot to the fence. I don't know if you guys saw this. This was 2 weeks ago. The Mets were in a tie game in the 9th inning, and Wilson Ramos gets on first base, okay? And I think Conforto's up next. Now, any manager probably in the history of the game does what when Ramos gets on base? Meanwhile, it's an American League game, okay? So you don't need pinch hitters like you would in a National League game, and whatever. You have another catcher still. So fine.
So he never puts in Juan Lagares.
Doesn't put in Juan Lagares, and then what happens? There's a ball that's hit down the line where, like I said, if for some reason the White Sox ground crew can actually extend the foul line to the end, we would have known that it was a fair ball. It looked like a fair ball, but there was no way to tell. It was called foul, and there was no chalk. It was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. But if that ball falls and is a double, Wilson Ramos is not scoring. And again, what does Mickey Callaway do before the next pitch? What does Mickey Callaway do?
Nothing.
He puts in Juan Lagares at the end, which tells me
that he didn't even think about it the first time.
He didn't think about it. So what that tells me is, okay, yeah, obviously that's the right move, but not just he didn't think about it. Are the bench coaches telling him, hey, Mick, how long was Riggleman a coach for? 1,000 years? So he's got to be telling them these things. He's got to know these things.
Yeah, but these guys are getting ran by the analytics department now, so they don't get to make a lot of decisions that they want to make.
A lot of the calls that you're worried that you're mad at for Callaway. Callaway is just a puppet for
and he came out and spoke about it.
Younger than all of us who've never played an inning of baseball.
Exactly.
Who are working the computers to tell the guys what to do.
And he's getting a call from the front office to tell him when to make changes and things.
And Omar, I totally appreciate that. But what I think and what I see going on is that is what the play is supposed to be. And then sometimes it gets so far and Callaway will go against script. And I feel like
he was upset, but that's what Terry's talking about. Callaway has spoken out about it because he's upset about it. It seems as though he's been privy to the Emperor's new clothes, and he's not impressed.
Right.
Because he's been put in a position where he's like, oh, no, so I'm just a figure. I don't get to run the team the way that I want to run the team. And then next thing you know, he's ready to lose it like he was in Chicago when they were there with the Cubs. But now tell me this. With the bullpen, do you think Edwin Diaz is tipping his pitches, or do you think that just New York was just too much for him?
I don't think it's necessarily either one of those things. I think that he is the kind of pitcher where when he misses, he's missing middle. And, I also think it's one of those things where all of them are doing it. So not to go back to Mickey Callaway just for a second, but he's supposed to be a pitcher, like a pitching coach. He had great success as a pitching coach, and he got this collection of arms. And it seemed like at the beginning of the year, oh no, Diaz is not going to pitch 2 innings. Diaz is not going to pitch 2 innings. Diaz is not going to pitch 2 innings. Diaz is pitching well. Okay. Then we're going to pitch him 2 innings, which goes back to my thing of, stick with, if you're going to have a thing. Diaz is not going to pitch 2 innings. You know the analytics. Can't pitch 2 innings. Can't pitch 2 innings. Okay, then don't pitch in fucking 2 innings. Okay, so I'm sorry, but you started doing things like that. You're not going to find another Andrew Miller necessarily. Okay, and you ran that guy into the ground too. All right, so now Seth Lugo's your 2-inning guy. When's he going to break? I'm not really sure, but I know right now there's no other real arms. Another thing, the first day after he said, Seth Lugo, you're going to be the closer, what did he do the next day?
He used Seth Lugo in the 7th inning, and he got shelled.
The 7th inning. Okay, so
we couldn't believe it.
Tell me where the logic is, Omar. Omar, I'm a man that likes logic. Okay, I must be half Vulcan. I'm a logical guy. Okay,
I think it's
and I hate my favorite coach of any of my sports teams has been Tom Coughlin because he didn't get in the way. He did the play that had been done for 100 years every time. Some people didn't like it, but you knew what you're going to get. All right. So I just think that the way that this team has been managed, it looks like it's being managed by someone who is getting fed information that he might not be, just exactly like you guys are saying, but it's whatever it is, it's not working out, and it's going to be moved on from next year regardless. So the bullpen with Edwin Diaz, to get back to your question, I don't necessarily think he's tipping pitches. I just think that he's uncomfortable. Earlier this year, he looked like one of the best relievers I'd ever seen, to be quite honest.
The last 2 years, he's been the best reliever in baseball.
Yeah, and the team was playing well, and he was pitching well. He's come around a little bit. I don't know if that's due to the team's recent, except for the past week success, but you don't know. Maybe he's someone who needs the right thing around him. Maybe he's got something going on personally. I have no idea, but I know that I've seen him pitch so lights out and then regress to where he can't throw anything. If it's a strike, it's middle. So, it's hard. And Familia's coming around a little bit, but like I said, all this stuff might be too little too late for this year, but all these guys are under contract. You got everybody under contract except, thank God, Todd Frazier. So you should be looking pretty good for the future. Not that I'm giving up on this year by any means, but the bullpen, you're throwing darts at the wall every year. You know that. Every year it's like, oh, yeah, well, this guy, Edwin Diaz, had one of the greatest years of all time last year, and he's historically bad this year. Every year is throwing darts at the wall with the bullpen.
I think Noah's going next year. I think Syndergaard is going to be gone.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't go this year.
Well, what I'll say about Syndergaard is I thought they were definitely listening to offers, but it was going to have to be crazy. I mean, it was going to have to be a team giving up every nice piece and major league ready players too. So I don't think there was a market that really fit him right now, but it's going to be the same song and dance next year. You're right. And but depending on how they're playing, the team could very well be a very good team next year, with the young position player talent they have. So they have all those guys now. They're not out of it this year, but they have all those guys next year. And if you go into next year, even if you lose Wheeler, you're going to have Stroman, who's not my favorite pitcher in the world, but you still are going to have DeGrom, Syndergaard, Stroman, Matz, and, whoever, not Anthony Kay or certainly anybody else you traded away. But,
who do you like out of the National League since you don't like the Mets?
Well, I don't want to say LA, but this is the year. No, if you're going to do it, I mean, how many chances do you realistically get where you're in this good a position? And it just seems like they're toying with teams. So
except the good teams.
The brutal thing, right. But all the teams have the same problems. It seems like everybody's bullpen sucks. It seems like everyone's got a good top of the lineup. It seems like everybody's mad at their manager, and it seems like everybody wins until you think they're going to win some more, and then they lose. So I don't really know. It's a very fruitless venture to try and even guess what's going to go on. But I will say right now that it just seems like they've been banging on the door for so long that you got to think they have some experience. The Braves are the depth in their lineup. It worries me for them, and they're not out of the woods with the division. The Nationals bullpen, I wouldn't trust for a second. Neither would I trust the Braves bullpen for a second. So, I mean, on paper, yeah, it's the Dodgers to lose, but the cruel thing about baseball is when it gets down to it, it's anyone's game. And hot pitchers and hot hitters, you never know who's going to get going.
I think it's the Cardinals.
So,
I told you that earlier. You tried to clown when I told you it was the Cardinals. I like the Cardinals. They have a complete team.
Cardinals are that team that, they get in and you're worried about them because they're the Cardinals.
They play the game the right way.
Yeah.
They always play the game the right way. Well, Thunder Dan out of New York, we know you got your fantasy draft to go mess up. Good luck taking Zeke Elliott in the first,
hold on.
first
Can
pick.
I ask you a question?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. I have the
Saquon Barkley
Dynasty League. Oh, I tried to trade almost every pick I had for Saquon. It's a good thing it didn't work, but I don't want to have to draft Zeke with my 6th pick because I hate having to root for him. So
what's the question?
If you had, I'm saying, okay, Devontae Adams, Odell, Juju, any strong preference? It's a half-point PPR, and it's a dynasty. So, I mean,
you know what, man? To me, Odell Beckham gets hurt too much, and even though he makes spectacular catches, I need to see more durability out of my guy that I'm building the franchise around.
You can't go Juju.
Right. And fuck him anyways.
Since he left New York, we see how you feel. I'm with you, T. You can't go Juju because Juju, you can't go Juju. Well, I like Juju actually, he's proven when he has another guy on the other side of the field that's the best guy in football.
Right.
So
the running back.
When I see Juju, he's going to be out there alone pretty much this year. It's like Juju and Jesse James. And so, and
Big Ben's arm is dead.
And Big Ben's arm has been sublux too many times into oblivion. So with that, I'm going to go with Adams. But honestly, if I was you, I think there's other guys. I expect a crazy bounce back season from Julio Jones.
Yeah.
I expect that. I like Hopkins. I like Jones.
I like DeAndre Hopkins more than everybody.
Yeah. Except for my man down in New Orleans.
I like him more than everybody.
Oh, you like Michael Thomas?
Yeah. A lot.
DeAndre Hopkins.
So you have the 6th pick and you can pick any. Well, I mean, Hopkins is going to be, it's going to be a little crowded for Hopkins.
When do you pick?
Man, I think I'm leaning towards Adams. But if Zeke is there, I feel like I have to pick him, right?
Man, you see, Jerry Jones came out talking tough today. You're moving us right into our football segment. Jerry Jones came out talking tough today, and Jerry Jones said he expected Ezekiel Elliott to miss several regular season games. And now
if you get tough.
I was going to say, with the precedent,
and you're feeling all right.
With the precedent that Le'Veon Bell set of guys actually sitting out and passing on big money, I think it's a whole new world. In the past, you would say, man, a guy's not going to miss $10 million, $20 million, blah, 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 blah. Now it seems like a different animal. I personally think Zeke will be back. I think he will bend. I don't think he's going to end up being the highest paid running back in the NFL this year. But
they said they were going to offer him Todd Gurley money.
And he wants more than Todd Gurley. That's the thing. This is the problem. He doesn't want TG. He wants TG3 plus.
Yeah.
And that's where they're running into an impasse. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm in a dynasty league. I feel like the games he's going to miss this year don't really even necessarily move the needle that much for me,
Well, if we're just talking about ability, Ezekiel Elliott is the best. When you're just talking about ability, he runs behind huge guys. Barkley's a monster, but I don't know. I think until I see Todd Gurley's knee actually shaping up,
Todd Gurley missed about 4 or 5 games last year and still had better numbers than everybody.
So you like Todd Gurley still?
I love Todd Gurley.
Okay. In the end zone. That's what I kept him in another league. I kept him in another league over Juju. I had to.
Oh yeah, I think that's a safe call.
No question.
My biggest issue is the knee. My biggest issue is the knee.
Yeah.
And he said he's tired of talking about the knee. He's ready to show.
He's ready to go. Yeah. And if that's the case, I need TG3.
Yeah.
Now tell me this: what's your take on Andrew Luck?
Oh, jeez. It was completely out of left field. I was sitting in left field at the Mets game.
You're the one who delivered the news. It was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was exactly it. No, I told him, I was like, look, man, if you want a spot at the studio, we got you. We need some interns. We just put out summer interns at the studio. So, come on through. We could use a guy with a good arm. Now,
to me, the big issue is the clear double standard.
The timing.
Not even the timing.
Yeah.
He's trying to do something. I've been injured myself for a while, and at one point your body stops healing, and it's really frustrating. Now, nobody's trying to give me a bunch of money for it, but in real life, he could have just sat out and stole the money if he felt like it.
Right.
Now, one thing that I find the most peculiar out of all of it is...
And they paid him, too.
This is the part I can't understand.
And they won't give Zeke his money.
They're going to give $25 million to Andrew Luck to just walk away. In football, they never.
That's unheard of.
Even with the big name quarterbacks,
Yes.
they don't play around like that in football.
Yeah.
Now, you're giving the guy $25 million that you could have even just asked for back, and he probably would have just gave it up.
It's not.
I saw that, and I saw that, and I was like, I am definitely. My life choices have been for me to be in the position that I told Austin. I literally called up Austin and Eric. I texted them. I said, guys, I'm retiring. I'll take that $25 million in the bank whenever.
Whenever you guys wire it on over.
Yeah, because I feel like I've done more for the studio than Andrew Luck has done for the Colts.
Ooh.
Not to toot my own horn or anything, but Andrew Luck seems like one of the good guys of the game. He seems like whenever he's mic'd up, it's hilarious. I love how he tells all the guys, "Oh, nice hit,"
Right.
He's a funny guy. I'm not mad that the guy is paid. I'm not saying that. But it's just such a weird, it's just kind of gross societal thing where like the hierarchy looks out for the hierarchy, and it just doesn't feel particularly right to me.
Preach.
And meanwhile, and I'm not.
I would prefer them to give that 25.
Can't have a job, and this guy's getting my alarm's going off. But in a league where Colin Kaepernick can't have a job, and this guy gets paid $25 million to walk away, that's pretty fucked up. I'm just saying, and I understand why that dude doesn't have a job.
Right. All right, man, go ahead. You're on the clock. We can hear it. Enjoy your fantasy drafts. Shoot us a screenshot of who it is you got. Thanks for the call.
Peace.
All right, I'm going to call you guys later.
Right. Yeah, it is a very interesting juxtaposition with the league being notorious for not playing people and not paying people rather, and also not guaranteeing anybody's money to now in turn just say, oh,
here,
yeah, by the way, here, hold this 25.
Yeah.
That's for you. I would rather them give the money away to the community than to give it to Andrew Luck. Not that there's anything wrong with Andrew Luck getting paid, but I feel like there should be something there. I'm actually happy Andrew Luck got paid. I like to see people get paid.
Right.
But when you look at the precedent that the league has set, it just doesn't add up.
Yeah, it's not.
Now you're looking at the thing. Now we're seeing the development of the Jay-Z NFL partnership, and what the first thing that they announced is Meek Mill and Meghan Trainor are going to be a part of the NFL kickoff and throw a concert that they perform in, and they have apparel that they're selling that's supposed to be change and socially conscious inspired clothing that then in turn the proceeds are supposed to go to communities, outreach, and blah, 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 and organizations. Once again, it's very vague. They don't say who's getting this money. They don't say
how much money they're getting.
It's all, it's looking.
What's the percentages?
But yeah, it's looking more and more like, it's looking.
A fleecing of the people.
It's looking more and more like you've monetized the movement.
He has. I mean, you got to call it for what it is. He sold out.
It just seems like a lot. Seems like a lot. And we'll see. We'll keep an eye on the situation, but right now, my knee-jerk reaction is seeming like it was correct, that this was a move that was financially oriented and nothing else. And just to keep it out there, everybody would have had a totally different perspective if the NFL had gone into an agreement with Kanye West as opposed to Jay-Z.
Right.
And if it was Kanye West wearing his MAGA hat to have this conversation, it would have been a totally different look.
It's true.
And the optics mean a lot. So but the results are what's most important. So, still holding out hope that something positive can come, but I'm not holding my breath. Not at all.
It'll be something positive, but you're going to have to dig deep for it. I mean, on the surface, they're going to get their money, and that's what it's all about. Capitalism at its finest.
Right. And now Gronk is making a lot of news. Rob Gronkowski is making a lot of news now because he's really trying to do something for NFL players since he's retired. And he came out and he spoke out about Andrew Luck's decision to retire, about his own decision to retire, and about some potential things that he's noticed about himself that caused him to retire at 29 years old. Let's play a little of this clip.
Had CTE, obviously one of the worst that they had ever seen in that situation. You fear that the collisions will take that long-term toll, especially because you're so close with someone who was affected by that.
Yes, and I'm aware of that, and that's why I took the action and got away from the game. And I would not lie. I was walking around. My mood swings were totally like up and down, and I was aware of what was going on with my body and my mind. and that's why I had to walk away. And but I'm doing exercises. I'm getting the right treatment. I'm looking for brain exercises. For example, when I'm home at my house, I have a 750-piece puzzle. I get treatment on my head. No lie, like I felt my head. I used to have liquid. It used to be thick. Like my head used to be thicker, like a centimeter of liquid, like in some spots, and you feel it. You know, I'd be like, what the heck? And like you could put indents in my head. But now, finally, I get the right treatments, doing the right things, and it keeps your brain active. And I truly believe I'm just starting where I'm at. If I already got to here and I was that damaged, what if I keep doing it? You know, I could keep going higher and higher and higher, and it's getting addictive in the best way it possibly can. And that's why I truly believe what I went through. I went through all for a reason, to make myself stronger in the end.
You know, kudos to Gronk for speaking out about this. This is something that I don't feel like people talk enough about their experiences with the downsides of
football
success in every way.
Yeah.
Just Rob Gronkowski is arguably the greatest tight end to ever play the game.
Yeah.
And Rob Gronkowski sounds and looks terrible in this interview, in my opinion.
He doesn't sound bad to me, but
he sounds like a punch-drunk boxer to me.
Not to me. I don't get the punchy, but what I do.
But he's always sounded like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I won't.
yeah.
So I won't. That isn't necessarily saying that there's something that's changed.
And this is where I am.
Sound like a fraternity bro kind of deal,
right? But this is where I am happy that Andrew Luck got his money, because
there you go.
Yeah, because these guys, man. Everybody wants to watch them for entertainment value and everything else, but after the fact, after we've destroyed Rob Gronkowski's brain and
his knees
and his body,
his leg.
I mean, he's one of the toughest tight ends to ever play. They changed the rules, and it hurt him when they changed the rules for tackling, because people couldn't bring him down, but they changed the rules with the Brady rules and everything else like that. So the big guys, they had to, instead of tackling him where they needed to, they go for his knees. So now he has knee damage. He has brain damage, and he recognizes it, and he's doing something about it. Yeah, which is great.
Which is great. Great for Gronk. I mean, it just doesn't sound sharp.
I hope he got out in time.
That's it. And this is what, if you watch the whole interview, guys, that was on NBC Now, but if you watch the whole interview, he addresses exactly that.
Yeah.
He's saying, look, man, I recognize, and I was in the off season, I started to take stock of my body and how I felt, and I didn't feel right. And this is what.
Well, how selfish are we as fans that we, you don't even care about the dude? A lot of people are mad at Andrew Luck.
I mean,
and Gronk.
and Andrew Luck.
Yeah, because they retired. These dudes are in pain.
Troy Aikman went in.
Yeah.
He went in on Doug Gottlieb, and I understand why he went in.
Gronk talked about after he won the Super Bowl, he couldn't, he can only sleep for 20 minutes or 30 minutes at a time?
Yeah.
Because his knee was hurting so bad? Come on, man. I've had dislocated shoulders. It's terrible. Your body is literally dislocated from your frame. Who wants to live like that permanently, with your brain like that, your head? He's talking about soft tissue in his brain. I mean, he's talking about his knees. He won't ever be the same again because he played that sport with not getting guaranteed money. And nobody wants to, everybody's like, oh, well, he's walking away from the game. And,
especially everybody on the Patriots takes less money.
Yeah.
And he was as good as they get.
Come on, man. You can't.
Speaking of which, Julian Edelman still never received my stack. Never got my money.
He got you.
Yeah, you got me, John.
I thought he got you too, John.
He got me, John. Ain't nobody stole nothing from me, Bo. That's what you get. Oh man, inside jokes, guys. Inside jokes.
Yeah, but it's just not right. I feel like we're out of line as fans. If any athlete wants to walk away from the game anytime they feel like it, they've earned that right.
I agree.
I don't own the dude's body. I don't have to live in that frame where you got to walk around with the bum knees. I'm getting bit up by mosquitoes right now and I can't take it, let alone. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Let alone getting just completely damaged and wrecked left and right.
There's a government freaking outbreak of mosquitoes.
Man, what is going on? If anybody has any inside information about the government modified mosquitoes, please call into the line.
That only bite below the knee.
Yep, the Aedes aegypti is here in Los Angeles, and those are the ones that give out Zika, chikungunya, yellow fever. A lot of problems, folks. Anyways, well, that's what we got for you right now. We are going to retire, and we're going to wish you guys a happy Labor Day weekend, marking the unofficial end of summer, time for the kids to get back to school. And I want to leave you with a quote from the great Joyce Meyer. And it is, patience is not simply the ability to wait. It's how we behave while we're waiting. Be patient with your life, folks, and remember that we're all in this thing together. I am Omar Miller, your host, and this is the OZone.
OZone.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not